So, thank you for joining me today, Ged and Elaine, from the Many Hands group. My name's Liz Wewiora, and I'm the project artist that's been working with you on many projects I think we'll talk about at some point today. But what I thought would be really nice to start with, just so people know, is to find out a little bit more about you. So if you could introduce yourselves, but talk a little bit about the Many Hands craft group that you're part of, maybe when you joined, and the different types of projects that you guys have been involved in over the years. So Elaine, how long have you been part of the Many Hands group?
From the inception. We set up the constitution 5-6 years ago.
So going strong still.
And it is still going strong. If it wasn't for COVID, we'd be even stronger yet, because we started some projects making little blankets and blankets and hats for babies in St. Mary's Hospital. And we haven't been able to carry that out, see that through since March. But as I'm sat at home, I'm still knitting little hats and little blankets for the babies.
There's a large pile.
Yes, it's mounting up. I'm beginning to look like a wool shop.
Knowing Elaine, she's not very slow at making things, you know, knitting and crocheting, you know. She can do a different item every night. Well, I'm Ged, and I live in Ancoats, Victoria Square. Like Elaine, I joined the group about 6 years ago, and it was called Many Hands Craft Collective when we got a constitution together. Now I've got a little committee, and we meet up very occasionally, you know, to discuss things. But the group was originally called Nippy Knitters, I believe, and it was purely a knitting group. But since I joined, we've branched out a little bit, hence the new name, Many Crafts. And we do knitting, crocheting, art, jewellery making, which I'm involved in. We've also done screen printing, sounds, music, all sorts of things. And lately, of course, the photography, which we've become involved in, and obviously produce this book, Present and Continuous.
Mm-hmm. So we started the photography projects, it's like 2016 now, 2016-17, I think. But what interested you to take part specifically in photography projects? I know that was new for the group, wasn't it? Maybe Ged, if you want to answer first.
It was pretty new to me as well. I know Elaine likes taking photographs, but to me, I've hardly taken any photographs at all in my lifetime. Maybe one or two during holidays and that, but I wouldn't class myself as a photographer. So for me, it was an idea that I could branch out into something completely new to me. I mean, my idea of photography was, like most people, just taking a snap of somebody, you know, head and shoulders and that. But it's really broad an outlook, which I'll go into later, if you like.
And what about you, Elaine? Why were you interested to take part specifically in a photography project? Well,
as I said initially, I love taking photographs, and my friend Ian, who is with me, is a photographer, and he's been telling me for years, don't take snaps, take photographs. Don't take snaps, you know, it's, and that sort of ring in my ears. So when you came and you said, this is how you hold your camera, this is what you look for in your camera, it made me interested, quite interested in learning more. And it means I had to get up and go out and look for things to portray. Yeah.
it's like growing an extra eye in a way, isn't it, Elaine? You know, having a different outlook on things.
Yeah.
You know, looking at things in different ways, and maybe it might originally have seemed a bit like rubbish to you, but taking a photo of something very simple has artistic, you know, meaning behind it, yeah, which Liz has helped us understand and gone through in different ways. And we've taken photos of things that I would never have taken a photograph of in previous years, you know, but I see the meaning behind it now. Yeah.
So you'd both say that your relationship to photography has changed then since doing the project?
Yes, very much. I take better photographs now. I really do. Like a couple of Thursdays, we were in the writing group, and we had some photographs, didn't we? And they turned out fantastically. The best photographs I've taken of any given group. It was really, really nice. I'll show them you when you're not distancing.
Yes, and I've started taking photos that are not just snaps now, you know, and I've managed to take photos without cutting people's heads off. Unless it's for an artistic reason, of course. I know I've been there. Yes, we had one of those, didn't we? But photos is a different form of art. Like we went on a walkabout, as I say, Liz, a couple of years ago when we started this photography session. We had a walkabout around Victoria Square and the surrounding area, and I did various photos of behind people, which is something I would never have thought. And then we took photos without direct sunlight or any sunlight at all, which like silhouettes. And I used to think, oh, always get the sun behind you, else it won't turn out very well. You know, the old-fashioned way of thinking about photos. But photos can look lovely in extraordinary circumstances, and even simple things like cupboard doors. I think I remember photographing at one time with numbers on them. Don't know whether you can remember those, Liz, in that flat. And actually developing films in the dark room that you set up for us, Liz, in the bathroom. We couldn't see a thing, could we, hardly? But it showed us how to develop film.
Yeah, there was
proper films, you see. We're not talking about digital. We're talking about proper 35mm and even larger. I think you went up to, was it 120 mils at one time, Liz, from what you remember?
Yeah, we tried out quite a few.
The one that the one that I enjoyed was when we were taking photographs of the plant pot on the green background.
Yeah.
And making a screen print of it.
Yeah, maybe if I share my screen now, and then we can have a little look through the pictures actually. This is the pictures in the publication. Can you see that, Jed and Elaine?
An excellent publication, may I say.
So maybe you could talk through some of the images if I scroll through. So you just tell me when you want me to stop, basically. But this is a publication that we obviously ended up making.
Funnily enough, that's just what I mentioned a few minutes ago, wasn't it? The cupboard doors with numbers on.
Yeah.
And there's an image of me taking a photo of the photo there.
Yes, so this was
reflection. Yeah.
Yeah, this was when we were, so we'd been invited into a student's house in Chorlton, hadn't we? To kind of take over their house and capture like their domestic space. So yeah, we were just taking pictures of anything and everything.
We did take it over as well, didn't we, Liz?
We did take over for 2 days. They were very good with us. Who's that there? Do you know? Do you remember?
That is Anne Feasy.
But
you know, little Anne? Little Anne.
Really?
Yeah, it is. When she was young, yeah. Generation of an old mill by the looks of it on the left-hand side there.
Yeah, I think that's one of your pictures.
As many of them are made into yeah, I think it's been made. A lot of the mills around about are unfortunately being made into affordable housing, in inverted commas. You know, they're all being made into flats, and the regeneration is non-stop, obviously, in Manchester. Yeah. Another idea to take more photos to show how things have changed in the area.
Yes, I think these were very much about setting the scene. So these are some of the pictures we took right at the beginning. So where the people brought their own old photographs in, so found family album pictures, just so we could kind of understand a bit more about each other and our own past. And then we were going around the local area looking at how much everything was changing quite quickly, really, weren't we?
That's right. Since we took those photos of the surrounding areas, it's changed even more. Just shows in a matter of a couple of years how things can alter. More photograph opportunities then to show how things have changed in such a short time.
If we have a little move on.
Oh, yes. I remember that well, top right-hand corner, hanging the photos out to dry or to give them some sun or both, one of the two, so they'd develop properly. Yeah. And of course, a stock of wool, always welcome at
Blackpool.
Is that in Blackpool, Elaine, was it?
Yeah.
Yes, we have had little trips, haven't we, Liz, for various reasons, you know, to see galleries and wool shops and craft places, yeah. Yeah.
And then does someone want to talk through, because there's some text here, which is actually part of a poem, but does anyone want to talk through the poem? Do you remember who from the group made the poem for us?
Yeah, the actual poem was done by Charles, and he had to incorporate various words in his poem, which we all decided should be included. The words were community, friendship, creative, growing, sociable, togetherness, isolation, diversity, and multi-talented. And he had to put all those words in a poem as he went along through the booklet, and I think he's done a very good job of it. Yeah. Every word comes into being with our group. You know, it always means something. So obviously I didn't remember all those words off by heart. I was reading them, you know, off the auto cue.
Now Elaine.
That's what Elaine was talking about. Yeah.
Yes, this is my favorite, and how we use the colors to accentuate the background, and the light and the dark, and all the bits, and how much you could leave in and leave out. But yes, I learned a lot from that photo, taking that photo. Yeah.
Yeah, so we kind of had a little still life set up space, didn't we, in the community centre?
Yeah.
Little mini prop up still life space. But yeah, it was all different. It was all so there was lots of different colours to choose from, but everyone seemed quite keen on a kind of green or a teal colour. I think that's because it connected to the Many Hands logo, which was the same colour, wasn't it?
Yes.
So it became
right, teal or turquoise or whatever people called it.
yeah. Everyone would disagree on actual what colour it was, but it was the same types.
Lighter shade of turquoise going on teal. Yeah, these were photos taken at a craft group and at the exhibition at the studio you're talking about.
So we did the exhibition at Manchester Craft and Design Centre. So these are all images from the installation, I think.
That's it, yeah. That's right, yeah. The top left one are the two armchairs. I think we sat and watched a video of the group and things that had made and done, and all on the wall you can see portraits, two of which are in the current book as well, I noticed. Jim and Rose, two of our regulars. And yeah, the studio was set up very well there, thanks to Liz and the helpers, her team. It felt really warming, and we introduced people to what we did and the photos, and everybody was very interested. Yeah. They could take things away, and I think we had a little stall as well, didn't we, one day, with jewellery on and people making things as punters were walking around. Yeah, it was very interesting.
And that was a very good exhibition because we'd never done something like that before. And to have our work photographed and ourselves photographed and exposed to the public was totally different. You know, even my work, in the window, there is a cardigan there. That's one of mine. Yeah. And it was very uplifting. It's, there's something at the end of it.
And it makes you feel worthwhile as well, doesn't it, Elaine? You know, it makes you feel, well, important as well, as it can affect other people as well as just your own little group. You know, one time we used to think, oh, go to our group, it's a Tuesday afternoon, something to do. But it just shows what can be done if you put your mind to it.
But if Liz hasn't introduced these things to us, we wouldn't have got them, would we?
No. No.
We'd still be sat there doing our jewellery and...
probably wouldn't have even thought about photography.
Well, no, not in the same way.
No. No.
Liz, when you started out working with the older people, did you expect this sort of outcome?
I mean, I had no idea what we were going to end up producing. That was kind of the whole point, wasn't it? Because I basically introduced it as a project where I wasn't gonna come with any preset ideas about what we were going to do or make. Like, the whole idea was that we would figure it out together. We'd go on a bit of a journey together and try different photographic techniques, ideas, think through actually what it was we wanted to photograph and why, which is why we came up with all those words in the end to try and frame what it is we wanted to focus on. So I had no idea where we were going to go with the project, and I actually think that's why it was so much fun, because we all figured it out together as a group, and I think that's why the work was so diverse.
It's turned out better in that way.
Yeah, definitely.
It's turned out very well and better than we expected, really. We were a bit at first, I think, you know, we can't do much in photography, you know, we don't understand, and all this technology with cameras and blah, blah, blah. But we all got together and we managed and came out the other end, and none the worse for wear. I'm very thankful for what's been done.
Shall I move on to the next page? Let's have a quick look what we've got. Okay, what are these?
See what's next, yeah. Oh, another item for Elaine.
This page is
togetherness.
Togetherness.
Yeah, what's the top right hand one, Elaine? That was your baby, wasn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But what was it? I don't know whether people can tell from the screen.
What, 2 toilet rolls?
Yeah.
2 toilets. 2 empty toilet rolls.
Yes.
Which is a story of its own.
Yes, togetherness now, isn't it, eh? 2 toilet rolls together. Togetherness, bottom right, is a picture of the windows at Victoria Square. Every flat has I think every flat has a round window somewhere in it. I know I have in the bedroom here. I believe it used to be the scullery or pantry at one time. It used to be cordoned off inside. Remember this one? Yeah. Now, top left is the one I was talking about as well earlier, about a camera through a camera. I've forgotten, is there a technical name for that type of photography, Liz? I've forgotten.
Not really.
Or is it just a camera through a camera?
Was it where we had
no.
We had like a...
It was...
we had a smartphone, so we had our phone cameras.
We had the old-fashioned camera at the bottom.
Yeah, looking through a big old...
We looked through the top.
Through a big old camera from the top, so it was called a Mamiya 6.7 camera. It's a big medium format camera, and you can see the kind of frame as you look down. So it was about us kind of looking through an older version of the view, if you like. So we made quite a few like that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Around. But that's, I think, on one of the
That's
balconies.
right. Yeah, with a mobile phone or camera. Yeah, it is one of Victoria Square's balconies. Yeah, that's a good effect. That one as well. Yeah, again, it looks like a tunnel, doesn't it? It's actually just the supports for the balcony. Right. There's our dear Elaine.
Well, this was when I was saying that to see us, the people who in the craft group who ended up being photographed with their work, it's as if it was a highlight of our efforts. It was so appreciative. I was so proud of myself anyway, but I'm not the only one.
No. And these are just a few of our members of the Many Hands Craft Collective. I think there's 10 on there, but usually there's 15 or 16 of us, you know, so a few have joined since these photos were taken. But these are the main culprits. These are the ones who come regularly. Yeah.
You all took pictures of each other to do this, didn't you? We were all kind of swapping between the camera and, do you remember? That's
right. Yeah, and we had a backing up of teal stroke turquoise paper to fit in with the group. Yeah, we all sat on chairs. Didn't look directly at the camera either. It was just slightly to one side because it looked better that way.
Yeah, I think I bought the local art shop out of types of green paper for this. I remember I literally got every type of green paper I could get. So you all had your own shade of green. I remember.
It was hard to get, wasn't it? We had to get it right, Liz. Yeah. And you did.
But it was nice. It was nice for me. It was really nice to watch you all take charge of the camera and help each other. Like, so at one point I wasn't actually I still can't remember who took pictures of who in the end, but it didn't really matter. But it was just really nice because it felt like a real group effort to take the portraits.
Bottom right, is that the same photo, I think, that we saw before? Or is it slightly different? It's Victoria Square again with a camera through a camera.
So it was the same technique, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that's on a different floor.
Yeah, it was. Lovely effect as well.
Yeah, we enjoyed doing that.
And as you can see, that was towards the sun as well, I think. Yeah. Top left was one of the patterns I think we did on... wasn't screen printing that, was it? Was it screen printing?
I think we practiced with screen printing, and then for the exhibition we made a final digital version of it. But have you got your physical copy of the book as well to hand? You've got yours with you, haven't you, Jed? Because obviously we made...
You sent the one, didn't you?
Yeah. So obviously we made the physical one first, because we were going to have a publication launch in, I think it was April of this year. But unfortunately, COVID put stop to that. So it's been really nice that we've been able to do it. We've been able to at least do this online. But also we did turn one into an online publication. So that's one we've just gone through, which is on the issue account as well. But I know it was quite a while ago now, but and obviously we talked really fondly about the exhibition as well. But could you talk a little bit about how you feel about specifically producing the publication from this project? Because again, that was something new for the group to do. And like your experience, we worked with a designer as well, didn't we? It took us quite a long time to work through which images would go where and trying to edit things in and edit things out.
Oh, it did. Great discussions at length about what should or shouldn't go in the publication. But I think in the end we picked the right things, and it's a good model of how Many Hands has encompassed this photography session on a whole. It shows the different things we've been able to produce as well, not just the normal photography clips and snaps, like I said originally. And thanks to Liz, we've been able to make this into a publication, which is very welcoming. And it just shows that even if you're old, I prefer to say young at heart, nothing's impossible. And you can reach great goals if you put your mind to it with a bit of guidance, obviously. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to do this on our own. And we thank Liz for all the help that she's made possible to produce the publication.
I was thinking that we had quite a bit of hidden talents, and you came and outrooted. We all had talents, but we didn't know. You know, you don't reach a certain age and you haven't learned anything. You just get used to what you've learned, and you sit by it until somebody comes with a different idea and shows that you've got what it takes to get on with it, and that's what you've done. You've shown us that we can we can do things differently. That's what I'm trying to say. You can do things differently. Because you can really say that photography works for older people.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask one more question. So obviously we've had loads of fun doing this project, and we did it together, and I think that's why it was so fun. But quite often people think of photography as something that you would do by yourself, kind of on your own. It's very like a singular activity. But what would you say to people who did want to do something as a collaborative project, but maybe were worried about it, particularly photography? What advice would you give to people?
It has to be gone in with an element of fun, and you need to be committed to do photography, because it's there. Techniques are there to be learned, even on top of what you already know. You know, there's you can learn more things, don't you think?
Yeah, it's not just for people on their own. I mean, collaboration, even if you just go out with another person, you know, just it gets you talking, gets you nattering.
It does.
You can always take photos of things. The other person might notice something that you haven't. So it gives you another opportunity to take an alternative photo. And it gains friendship, gets you meeting people. Even on your travels, taking photos, people probably say, you know, oh, what you're taking photos of, and that makes another seed, and you know, it goes on from there. So it's a good collaboration, and it does encompass all the words that are featured in the present and continuous book. I'm sure, you know, I could thoroughly recommend, you know, collaborations and teamwork, however it may be in the future, if anybody's interested. Yeah, it's a great, peaceful type of art or hobby or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I thoroughly recommend it.
I want to ask Liz a question. Why did you choose us?
Why did I?
Good looking.
Well, I actually thought you would be a really good group to work with, because I'd seen how enthusiastic you are about arts and crafts in general. And I think you work really well as a group. You're very supportive with each other. And the project was part of my research degree, which was looking at how photography can be this collaborative thing that we do together. It can be this collaborative act. And I thought, well, you know, an existing collective already has that spirit. So I thought, you know, you'd be a good group to ask to try and go on that adventure or kind of research with me, really. Because you were all very honest that some of you had taken pictures before, some of you hadn't, but you were all very honest about the idea that you might not feel confident in photography, but you'd give it a go. And that's all kind of I could ask for, really, off anybody, is that you wanted to try. And I was like overwhelmed with the amount of content we ended up making, with the diversity of it, with the range. like we ended up having an exhibition which we didn't plan, a publication which we didn't plan. You know, we ended up doing loads in the end.
Yeah.
And I think that just came.
I know, we did.
Yeah, I think that came from the motivation of the group, really. So thank you for doing it with me. Thank you for collaborating with me on it. I had loads of fun. I'm looking forward to
I really enjoyed it.
Next project as well.
Volume 2.
Yeah, present and continuous. All right, so if we want to just if we want to say thanks and say goodbye to the audience who'll be watching.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you, folks, for listening and watching us this morning. Hope you've got something out of it, and look forward to seeing you with your cameras at some point.